Well guys, I just couldn't stop tonight. I added this to it. I don't know if that's going to work or not, but that's actually looking like it might be. I might have went overboard, I don't know. Putting those underneath the rocks to kind of go up against it. It actually looks cool on this side. That's going to be a pretty tank. I need to put one more leaf going underneath this, coming up this way. Because I got this one going that way, that one going that way. So we want to kind of keep the same theme, so we're going to do that. Alright, what do y'all think, man? And then the pump, or the filter, will be right behind these, so these will kind of help go up against it and camouflage the cover a little bit, or the filter. And we've got the blue light, and we've got the bright light. Hopefully that'll be the cat's meow. Alright guys, we're filling it up, and what we're going to do is take half of this out of this tank, and the other half will come out of the 20-gallon tank. So that's what we're doing. Alright, so now what we've done is we've taken this much out of the 55, and that brought it to about right here. Alright, then I put another 5-gallon out of the 20-gallon. I think I'm going to get one more 5-gallon thing out of it, and we're just going to do a half water change on the 20. Now, on the 20, we had all this algae growing, and I'll show you what it is. Had all this algae that growed on these because they were so close to the light. Well, to kickstart this tank, we're just going to soak those in there and leave them in there for a couple of days, maybe even longer, and that way this will help introduce the tank to algae and get things kick-started a little bit faster. Basically, this is already a started tank because I'm taking the water from established tanks. All my water is exactly the same, but anyway, so we're going to put these in there. And I may just leave them in there permanent and just wash them every once in a while. But there's a big old clump on that one right there in that area. And it came from basically right next to the light because it was next to the light. But I want to rearrange these so that they're kind of filling this area up, so that when you're looking in it, you're looking at the leaves coming up, and then you see the top. That might become a permanent fixture in this tank. It's just that I hate that it builds up that algae so fast. And it's basically because of styrofoam. Apparently algae loves styrofoam. So we've got 2 fish or 3 fish in there already, everything out of the 20. Now we're getting ready to put the goldfish from the 10-gallon tank in here. And that is actually easier than I thought it was going to be. Alright. Now let's feed Jake. Alright, Jake is being fed. Now all we're going to do is put more water in this, and I'm not going to put much more in it. I'm just going to put enough in it to make sure that all the filters are going to be working. So we can go ahead and start that pump. Alright, so there we have the water in it. This pump here is having a hard time. I think I'm going to have to take it off because I think some moss got lodged up in it. That's another reason why you don't want to experiment with moss in your tank, because it just destroys your tank. Yeah, it looks pretty, but at the cost of looking really bad, it's not worth it to me. So I'll just stick with the plastic plants. Don't have to worry about them, and be done with it. Plastic plants, you take them out, you wash them, and put them back in, and you're good. I like for them to be totally plastic. I don't like the silk, but you know, you really ain't got no choice. You got to do what the world wants you to do, not what you do. So let's test out the blue. Yeah, blue ain't going to show nothing until that water clears up. And that, I expect that water should be clear within the next 2 days. But we're not going to highlight this tank. Until it's clear and I've got everything the way I want it. I'm thinking about trying to find some of those little tiny clay flower pots. I got one somewhere. I don't know if I gave it away with a seed or what. I probably did. But you can get those couple dollars. Them little clay flower pots like I have in Jack and Jill's tank. Just kind of pepper 2 or 3 of them in areas around through there. and in the back side, and maybe one right here in front of that flower, or at where it's coming up out of the ground. So we might just do that. Put us a couple clay flower pots in there and be done with it. I think that would put some color in the tank also. So right now I've got 2 blue gourmets, dwarf gourmets, and a placo and a goldfish. And the 2 rosy reds are in Jake's tank. We're introducing them to get to know each other. And I have a feeling it's not going to end well for the rosy red. I'm surprised it ain't caught already. Well, one of them ain't. But there you have the tank filled with water, and I just robbed from every tank I have because every one of them needed a water change. So I just take what was in it and put it in here, and once it's started growing on the gravel and the rocks and stuff like that, plus I've got the algae up here on the flowers that will help kickstart the tank. So all it needs is a little TLC now. It's all together. The only thing we're waiting for now is for it to clear up. Everybody seems to be happy in there, and we're going to just give you a tour of the fish room / living room. We put this little fake tree here just to kind of hide some of the stuff back in there and take people's minds off of what's going on in the back there. And now I don't know if I like this yet. It might get changed eventually, but I'm getting ready to change this. What I did, I took the lights out of the 10-gallon tank because they just snapped in the lid, and I taped them back here to where it was just level with the gravel, so it kind of light up this area down here. And I plan to trim this with camouflage tape. So until I get the camouflage tape, I have to use this black vinyl to put on there just to keep it from blinding me out here, because I didn't have nothing dark enough to put on that. So then I added some pots to it, and they seem to like it in there. The Grommies have been investigating the pots, and I can't wait for this thing to clear up. Let me turn this big light off. Well, let me show you what I did up here. I still got to do some work here. I want to get me another piece of this thick glass, just a thin piece, just maybe about that wide, just big enough to make a door here. And I want to make a door the same thickness as that to put right here in this area, and have it hinged right here with probably a plastic hinge. And we'll just take and 100% silicone it onto that piece of plexiglass, and then have a little knob right here so I can lift it up. That's the plan. But for now, you see the water, I got to keep something under there to keep the water from coming out of the tank. So that's why we have that laying there. But I cut a piece of vinyl off of a treadmill. This was come off of a treadmill. The pad that, and the reason I put this on there is because, see, I cut that out so that the light would shine down through it, and there's why I don't have a lot of light, because that damn styrofoam's in the way. But anyway, we got that there to keep the reflection of this from blinding you, because it would blind you. I'll show you the difference if I take that off. If I take that off and put it in place, see what I mean? It blinds the hell out of you. You're not getting the full effect of the fish tank because you're being blinded by that light. So I decided to just make a pad, because I didn't want to paint the back side of that. So I just made that pad to set on there where I want the light to be. I cut it out and just set it on there. And it took me a long time to figure out where I wanted to put that light. Depends on where you put it and what kind of light you get. So if you see, just adjusting it a little bit changes the outcome of the light. But we got this up in there just to get the algae off of it to work its way into the tank. And once that's done, then I'll take those plants and flowers, and I'm going to decide a different way of mounting them up there, because that styrofoam is just collecting a lot of green, nasty, slimy algae, and I don't like that. So I'll turn the light off here and we'll do a tour.